Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. We're on episode 5 of Classroom of the Elite. Before anything else, please feel free to subscribe, like the video if you like it, dislike it if you don't, and please feel free to check out the Patreon. The description is in the link below. The $5 level is full reaction, so don't miss out on that. Without further ado, episode 4 mostly just kind of went into Pseudo's background, which I thought was kind of interesting, more about how his relationship with that other gang that, you know, was kind of picking on him has kind of been going, and how it's affecting the rest of the classroom in a way that could potentially lead to an outcome where they're trying to get to Class A, where that could affect their position to get to Class A if, you know, somebody's expelled. That wasn't confirmed, but the INOG was just kind of touching on that a little bit, and how that could be a potential thing that the school could do to limit them being able to get to Class A, and they're trying to avoid that, you know, potential situation. I thought that was kind of interesting as well, and just more backstory is kind of with Kushida's character I thought was kind of interesting. Just that little off segment of that love letter scene was kind of really surprising, to be honest. I wasn't expecting it to kind of go that way. I was kind of expecting more of the love letter to go to INOG, but it didn't end up happening that way. To my surprise, I guess. But yeah, hopefully in this episode we can get more information on kind of what's going on with Pseudo, and why that gang doesn't really like him that much, or why, you know, they're picking on him, or if that's just kind of, you know, something that's been going on for a while. I mean, I don't know, but it'll be interesting to get more information on that. But yeah, without any further ado, let's go ahead and just jump into the episode here. I'm interested in finding out more. Hell is other people. I agree entirely. I don't have a single thing against that statement. How she fell, I have no idea. It didn't look like it was that big of a fall in episode 4.
エドワード・ホールがパーソナルスペースを4つに分類した。その一つに密接距離、近接層と呼ばれるゾーンがある。相手を抱きしめられるほどの距離を人は拒絶する。だが例外も存在する。例えば櫛田。接近しても他者にパーソナルスペースを発動させない。それでもさくらは拒絶した。心を通わせることを恐れている。だから目を伏せる。
Yeah, I mean, she has some sort of a connection with that camera, obviously, but I don't know exactly. It's a given I don't know, but I mean, I just can't figure out any idea on why she has a connection with the camera.
これはダメだな。そうか。電源系だこれは。ダメだな。保証書は。保証書。
保証書って持ってきてる？
保証期間内だ。これなら無償で交換できますよ。
Good. I like that aspect. Let's keep watching.
人見知りのさくらにはきつい相手だ。同行者も複数欲しいか。
期間どのくらいかかりますか
？2、3日かな。
3 days to fix the power issue on a camera? Are you kidding? Okay, fine. It's a show. I'll go with it.
携帯番号。
I like the emphasis they're putting on the expressions from her point of view. It's obvious now that something happened to her in a way to where she's... I mean, it was already given that she was already sort of that way, but the way she's now seeing them in this episode is just more information about maybe something that was actually an incident that happened, rather than just her not having always been this way.
ちょっと君、このカメラの所有者は彼女だよね。それはちょっと。
メーカー保証は販売店も購入日も問題なく証明されてます。保証書は数十秒前にあなたが確認しました。法的な問題はどこにもないと思いますが。
そうかな。じゃあ仕方ないな。
ごめん、お手洗いに行くね。
二人きりは気まずいな。どうしたさくら、何か言いたいことでも。
綾野浩二君はどうするのが一番だと思いますか？
須藤の件か。さくらの好きなようにすればいい。
私の？
そうだ。
黙ってたら後悔すると思う。
どうして俺に言うんだ？
目が怖くなかったから。
Yeah, his eyes don't reflect anything. Oh my gosh, I would.
相談
It's hard to
櫛田の方が
read a guy like that.
今日だってそうだ。直感か。恩義を感じてはいるが、なぜか櫛田を信用しきれない。
Yeah,
そんなところか。
good call.
黙ってたら後悔するって言ったよ
はい。
な。ならそれだけでいいじゃないか。須藤のため、櫛田のため、クラスメートのため、そんな考えは一度全部捨てろ。
全部捨てる？
あれもこれも考えて抱え込まなくていい。証言するのはさくら自身のためだ。
私のため？
それで十分だ。
ごめん、お待たせ。おかえり。じゃあ今日はそろそろお開きかも。
いい時間だしな。
そうだね。この後綾野浩二君の部屋に行ってもいい？
Yeah, what? You want to do what?
わざわざ部屋まで来て何の用だ？
実はさっき。
Yeah, he's just the kind of guy that would actually just not care either.
この子に見覚えない？
これさくらか？顔つきやすい格好だけなら。
That's not the level of intelligence I would expect from a question like that from a guy like him.
やっぱりそうだよね。
それにさくらが伊達メガネなんてかけてるのはちょっと不自然だしな。
だって
レンズの向こうに歪みがなかった。
素顔を隠したかったってこと？
It's hard from an anime perspective to notice that, but I mean, if anybody in real life, you know, was wearing glasses without lenses, I'm fairly certain everybody would notice that. So I'm not sure what that says about his intelligence or her intelligence.
信用してくれたなら嬉しいけど、どうだろう。ねえ、綾野浩二君は隠したいことってない？
This one's relatively simple, I think. At this school, class membership remains the same from enrollment through graduation. It is assumed that the students of each class will come together to overcome various challenges and grow through doing this. I mean, that would just make sense. I mean, people tend to grow when they overcome things together, so. Aha, I've been wondering about this guy. With his scheming.
So. D クラス。
Of how his interactions, well, I guess the segments with him were only like 5 to 10 seconds long.
さくらの件で少しな。情報提供の確約までは取れなかったが。そう。どうしたんだよ。
どうしたって何が？
いや、なんかものすごい顔してるぞ。
Yeah, her expressions are completely the opposite of his. She has expressions written all over her face, literally, and then he's like completely the opposite.
私が頼む時には渋るくせに櫛田さん相手だとすんなり承諾するのね。その違いは何なのか冷静かつ慎重に分析していたところ。まあいいわ。
本当か。
それよりも須藤君の件についての生徒会審議の日程が決まったわ。
いつだ？
今日の放課後。
ではこ
Back
れ
to
より
this. Okay.
先週火曜日に起こった暴力事件について審議を執り行います。進行は生徒会書記立花が務めます。
まさかこの程度の揉め事に生徒会長が足を運ぶとは珍しいこともあるのだな。
日々多忙ゆえ参加を見送らせていただく議題はありますが、原則立ち会いますよ。
あくまでも偶然か。
ええ。
生徒会長がいたのは想定外だ。堀北がポテンシャルを発揮できない。
You're in a student council meeting room and you don't expect the
ど
student
ちらの
council
主張
president
が
to
真
be
実
there.
であるかを見極めさせていただきたいと思います。
Okay.
よろしいでし
I'll
ょ
let
う
it
か。
slide.
始めてくれ。
小宮以下3名は須藤に呼び出され特別棟で殴られたと主張していますが、須藤はこれを否定。自分は小宮に呼び出されたと主張。双方の主張は食い違っています。確実とされる事実は以下の一つのみです。つまり加害者須藤の暴力行為により小宮、近藤、石崎が負傷、被害者は以上の3名。
殴ったの俺でも仕掛けてきたのお前らだ。
怪我を議題の中心にされるのも須藤を野放しにするのもまずい。堀北、
言いやがって。てめえら俺がレギュラー候補になったから嫉妬してんだろ。バスケの練習中だっていつも邪魔
静粛にお願いします。新たな証言。
It's actually really difficult for this sort of a situation. I mean, I don't really feel like, I mean, it could just be an obvious thing, but I mean, for me, like, the situation is actually really difficult to overcome just because, I mean, her relationship with her brother is something that is a very critical thing in this sort of a situation where she is actually one of the people that's a stronger person in the room to be able to testify against what's actually happening for Pseudo. I mean, it's just, without there being some sort of a turning point, you know, through either Ayanoji coming up with something, which is probably going to have to be what happens here. But I mean, even as that stands, I mean, he already has conflict with the student council president just because of that one incident that happened with, you know, Orikita, you know, and it's really difficult, I think, from either of their perspectives to try and, you know, get Pseudo out of a situation like this with anything that they have to say, just because it's already weighed against them with, you know, bias against them and things like that. But even worse for, you know, Orikita. So, I mean, I just kind of wanted to bring that up because this actually is a pretty difficult situation to have to overcome. I mean, I'm pretty sure that Ayanoji is probably going to have to come up with something, and I'm pretty sure that he'll be the key to getting out of the situation. Either that or the teacher will step in somehow, probably based on what Ayanoji has to say. But I'm pretty sure that Ayanoji will be probably the main thing that'll get him out of this situation. I mean, he's a main character though, so obviously, you know, that would make sense. But I mean, that doesn't have to go that way with any, you know, specific series, but yeah, let's just keep watching.
よろしいですか。
Well, it's over already. Yeah, no, it's not. Or is she gonna speak up?
議論するまでもなかったようだな。
一方的に相手を殴ったという事実は怪我の状態から見ても明らかです。これを基準として答えを出していくべきだと思われます。D クラス側の
Maybe there's not anything they can do about that right now. I don't know.
君が無傷であり、石崎君たちだけが負傷している。
I knew he would be a force that would have to kind of get around this, but I didn't think he would go about it that way.
放心状態であろうと体に強い刺激が与えられれば意識は覚醒
Man, that would
する。
just be awkward. I feel like the teacher is on their side, but not unless
お前が戦わなきゃ
she can get something out of it. You know what I mean? It's like because she was persuaded, she's already aware of his intelligence level, and because his intelligence level is so high, she can use that somehow whenever that's necessary as like as an option. So I feel like she's sort of biased to them, which is good. They need that right now in this situation to overcome the
どん
student
な
council
経緯で須
president.
藤君に呼び出されたんですか。答えてください。
部活が終わった後顔貸せって言われて
I mean, I guess it would make sense because that other teacher's from the other class is on the other guy's side. So I mean, I guess just logically, it's supposed to be that way.
その場にいるのは不自然です。
それは
用心のためですよ。
用心？
須藤君が暴力的だというのは噂になってましたし、体格だって大きい。
暴力を振るわれるかもしれないと。
そうです。
用意してきた返答だな。
中学時代。
But this is exactly what I mean by when I say like Horikita is like literally a really strong person to overcome this situation.
身を守るためですよ。
This is exactly what I meant by that. Because she is like literally giving it as it is.
複数の敵との戦いは常数的に難しくなる。石崎君を含めあなたたちが一方的にやられたことが腑に落ちません。
それは僕たちに喧嘩の意思がなかったからです。
相手に戦う意思がなく無抵抗な場合、3人が怪我をする確率は非常に低いはずです。
一般的にはそうだろうな。
その一般的な考えが須藤君には当てはまらない。非常に暴力的な男です。
一部始終を目撃した生徒がいます。
I mean, when it comes to Pseudo's expulsion, though, I never actually thought at any point in time that it would actually occur. I've just sort of thought the last episode and this episode that they were going to do something to get him out of the situation. So that was just something I've already been aware of. So his expulsion wasn't anything that even factored in, just because I knew it wouldn't happen, or didn't think it would be likely to happen.
桜入りです。着席ください。はい。
Oh, they got the camera back up, huh? This is the turning point. This is where they win. There is like, you can't deny any sort of physical evidence. I mean, this is literally undeniable victory. I mean, they've won.
さくら君と言ったね。本当に見たのならもっと早く名乗り出るべきだったと思うな。
それはその
This is where Anochi steps in, maybe.
これだから D クラスは。
私はただ本当のことを。
さくら君、さくら愛理君、クラスのため、須藤君を救うため、嘘をつくことを強いられたんじゃない
I
か。
mean, this is still a victory for Ayanochi's class,
ま
but
ずいな。
さくらさんは事件を本当に目撃した生徒だからこそこの場にいます。でなければ頼まれたとしてもここに立っていたかどうか。
ほう。
発言させるだけで良いのなら他の代役だって立てられたと思いませんか。
彼女のような人物を立てることでリアリティを持たせるつもりでは。
リアリティ？言いがかりはやめてください。あくまでさくらさんは全員
気弱で人のいいクラスメートを利用するのはやめなさい。
そんなことはしていません。
さくら君も震えてるじゃないか。これ以上彼女に負担を。
証拠なら
I mean, that other teacher's perspective is exactly on point, though. I mean, I would exploit everybody's weakness, you know, despite not knowing what that weakness is, just to further my side.
証拠です。
But I mean, as I said, I mean, she's got the physical evidence, so he was never going to win to begin with, even with that sort of a ploy.
私はあの日自分を撮るために
Why is that picture in a student council meeting?
日付も
I
あり
have
ます。
no idea. Let's just skip the unnecessary. Not that it's unnecessary. Skip the unnecessary stuff.
しかし坂上先生、この写真は違うと思いますか。
That's what I mean. There's no need to start with the other one.
私がそこにいたことを
But I don't hate it.
信じてもらえたと思います。
ありがとうさくらさん。
I love how they close the blinds for like 60 seconds. They go through the evidence and then they raise the
ですが
things back
ど
up.
ちらが仕掛けたものかは分かりません。あなたが一部始終を見ていた確証にもなりません。
それは
落としどころを模索しませんか。
So now he's trying to compromise. That's actually not a bad method to go either. I mean, from that perspective, I mean, it actually... Because if you can compromise, it means you don't lose, right? I mean, he was in a position to lose, right? And because obviously he was trying to win first, but he could... The moment they had the evidence, there was no way he was going to win. So, I mean, now he's trying to tie a draw. And... I don't know, I mean, his intelligence isn't dumb, I mean, that's for sure. I mean, that other teacher, I mean, he's definitely going about it the right way from his side, so I really can't say, you know, anything about that is wrong from that angle. Yeah, I mean, let's just go ahead and keep watching here.
C クラスの生徒にも
Because even from Inoji's side, I mean, a compromise wouldn't be a bad idea because it means they don't lose either.
須藤君に2週間の定額 C クラスの生徒たちに1週間の定額でいかがでしょう罰の違いは
It's like a 60% on the teacher side compromise and like a 40% on Inoji's side with the 1 week on one side and the 2 week on the other.
かなりの情報だな。
But yeah, I mean, he's right. It is quite a compromise if it's that high, like 1 or 2 months suspension.
結論はすでに出たようなものでしょ
さくら、お前は立派にやった。
もういいでしょうでは D クラス代表の堀北さん意見をお聞かせください
わかりました。私は今回この事件を引き起こした須藤君には大きな問題があると思っています。彼は日頃の自分の行いを周囲への迷惑を全く考えない。こうなるのも必然です。
てめえ
あなたのその態度が全ての元凶だということを理解しなさい。彼は反省すべきですが、それは今回の事件に対してではありません。過去の自分を見つめ直すという意味での反省です。
堀北
今話し合われている事件に関して私は須藤君に何ら非はないと思っています。なぜならこれは偶然起きてしまった不幸な出来事ではなく C クラス側が仕組んだ意図的な事件だと確信しているからです。須藤君の完全無罪を主張します。
意図的な事件これはお
I
かしい
mean, again, not wrong.
どうやら会長の
I
妹
think the
は
conversation between these two is actually
須
quite
藤君は被
interesting.
害者です。
I can't really predict an outcome.
間違いのない判断を。
I thought it was a small chance that she might actually stand up at the end of this, but I didn't think it would actually happen. I thought the compromise was good enough.
やはり時間の無駄だ。互いの言い分は常に真逆。つまりどちらかが虚偽の証言をしている。
おっしゃる通りかと。
C クラスに聞く。今日の話に嘘偽りはない。そう言い切れるのだろうな。
もちろんです。
D クラスはどうだ。
無論です。
では明日4時に再審を行う。それまでに相手の嘘
You're still not the kind of guy that wouldn't make a decision accurately. I feel like he is the kind of guy that has resources enough in order to get the actual truth, so.
翔さんは
That being said, I mean, I don't think that they're actually even gonna, I think they're actually gonna win this.
ごめんね。私が最初から
Unless he somehow
よかったのに。
just decides out of bias to not be on their side, but I don't actually think he's that sort of a guy. I think he would probably just
顔を上げろ、さくら。
go for whatever's the truth.
まだいたのか。今日この場に鈴音と共に現れた時には何か策を見せると思っていたが。
俺は諸葛孔明でもなければ黒田官兵衛でもないですよ。策なんてありません。
完全無罪と言い放ったのは鈴音の暴走か。
絵空事ですね。
そうだな。桜と言ったな。
はい。
証明しなければただの虚言だ。お前の仮面は風でしかない。
私はただ本当のことを。
俺は信じますよ。
そうか。ならばそれを証明できるか。
どうでしょうね。
Yeah, no after credits, but that is a really great question whether or not he can prove it. I mean, I think that, you know, INOG would be smart enough to be able to kind of go back and get the evidence somehow. It's kind of funny. It's like I'm talking about, you know, the student council president having good resources. I didn't actually think that they would be, you know, INOG himself, but I mean, he is literally a good resource when it comes to that. I mean, he can actually go find something, bring it back to the president, and if it's actually believable, I could definitely, you know, see him getting on board with, you know, the evidence that he brings back. So it'll be interesting to kind of see whether or not he can actually prove it. I mean, I feel like he would at least go try and get it. I mean, I actually think that he will go get it, and it'll turn out that way to where he can bring it back to the president, and then he'll just get on board with the evidence and then just overturn it into their favor, and that'll win the thing. I mean, that is literally what I think is going to happen. I mean, I don't think it would happen any other way, but I mean, it could deviate from that quite a bit, I think. I mean, it's a bit of a stretch for me to actually kind of go that far with that, but I mean, I definitely think it's one of the better theories to be going with, you know, given the circumstances that have happened. Yeah, it's also just kind of interesting, you know, when it comes to the relationships between the characters. I mean, it's still very obvious that the Classic President doesn't like, you know, INOG that much, and I mean, that's not really a surprise given kind of what happened, as I was saying before. But just that whole situation with that meeting, you know, as I was saying, it was a really difficult situation for them to overturn. And the moment that soccer just kind of came in with that physical evidence was literally the moment they won, or at least was a massive step to be able to, you know, get towards a position to where Rikita could actually step in and, you know, give her 2 cents on the matter. Because as I was saying, I mean, she has like one of the most assertive sort of presences in the room, and the moment that she doesn't get along with her brother definitely detriments her ability to do anything. And just the whole fact that Inoji and student council president didn't get along either because of that situation that happened in episode 2, I think it was, just created a really difficult situation for them to overcome. And, you know, the moment Sakura stepped in was definitely the turning point. That, and when Inoji has kind of, you know, stepped in with Horikita to get her up and to speak, was definitely a good play there. And again, you know, from the opposite side, that teacher that's just kind of, you know, exploiting everything he can, and from his perspective is definitely the way. I mean, if you were going to frame somebody for something, you know, set something up, I mean, and then just kind of lie about it, I mean, obviously they're already the type of people that would exploit people's weaknesses and just try to do everything they can to win as much as they can, and then to minimize the amount of downfall that they have if it does manage to flip on the other side. So I think everything that teacher was doing from their standpoint was definitely the best way to go about it. Not that it was a good way to really go about it. You know, you should just kind of, you know, stand by the evidence and stuff and not set things up on purpose anyways. But I mean, that's just kind of how they are, so that's just kind of how it is. But I mean, they're gonna, you know, I know she's gonna win at this point, so it'll be interesting to just kind of see if we can actually get the evidence. But yeah, that was episode 5. I don't think I have anything else to say at this point other than just to kind of keep waiting to see what happens with Pseudo, and whether or not he will even have to have a suspension at this point. But yeah, please feel free to like the video again if you like it, dislike it if you don't, and check out the Patreon. The link is in the description below if you are interested in that. $5 level is the full length reactions, and then the $10 level is the ability to vote, and then so on and so forth. But yeah, thanks so much guys for watching, and I will catch you in tomorrow's video.